Hi, this is Melanie from Blue Diamond. Now, I've just had a really interesting discussion with one of my clients, and I thought it might be interesting for me to jump on here straight away and make a short video in case this is of interest to any of you. So, my client has been in his role for a few years now, and he's reached the point of unconscious competence. Now, you may or may not be familiar with this term, but I liken it to when you're driving and you've been driving for a number of years and you no longer have to think about what you're doing. So the decisions, the reactions, a lot of that comes spontaneously or naturally, maybe not spontaneously, naturally. And my client feels like he is in that situation in his role. Now, this is great. And so we had some discussions around his reflection. And the discussion was, are you the right person for the role? The company is going through some changes at the moment, and actually having a safe pair of hands is really quite useful. The second question I asked was whether the role is right for him. And I think when we get to that point where we are operating on autopilot, are we in the right place for us? Because are we still learning? Are we still challenging ourselves? And we had an interesting discussion around this. And actually, right now, for both him and the company, he is in the right place for him. But this doesn't mean that he needs to stay in this role forever, and it doesn't mean that his development is done. And we talked about as we progress, maybe the steps taken to get ready for promotion and be prepared for the next role get steeper. So if you think about a staircase, when we are earlier on in our careers, it's easier to get from one level to the next, and then we do a role and then we get to the next level. But as we become more senior and the responsibilities are greater and the expectations are greater, it's almost like the steps get steeper or maybe they get deeper as well. So a steeper step to get up to that level and then longer in that role to get us like more comfortable, prepared, and in this situation where we are operating without using up too much energy and brain power. So hopefully that's useful for you. So whether you are somebody that is ready to step up to that next level and kind of preparing yourself mentally and preparing yourself in terms of experiences and competence to be able to do that. Or maybe you've already stepped up into a new role and you're trying to get yourself comfortable. And at the moment, there's a steep learning curve and there's a lot to learn. Or maybe you are kind of nearing the point where my client is at, where actually things have become a little bit more comfortable, not necessarily for the business environment, but as an individual in that particular role. And I think it's really healthy and useful from time to time to pause and think about some of these things. Hopefully, that's given you some food for thought, and please subscribe below.